Hi guys, it's Avalon here. Welcome back to Simply Avalon. And as you can tell from the title, I am going to be giving you guys my best advice for freshman year so that it can go off without a hitch. And as you guys already know, I am a senior in high school. 2019 is my time to shine, also known as my time to graduate and get out of this place called high school. Without further ado, because I know this video could get really long, let's go ahead and get started. First things first, and I feel like this is just the most important one, be yourself. If you are not authentic, we will be able to see through it. And it's also just important to remember that high school is the time, again, just like 6th grade when you're about to start middle school, it's a time where you have a chance to reinvent yourself. The next thing I have to say though is that you need to participate. Go to school events, go to plays, participate, just do everything that is thrown at you. Now, I will say time management is key, obviously. Do not let these events get in the way of your studies because it ain't worth it. You cannot expect a good high school experience if all you're doing is just staying huddled up in your room watching Netflix. Like, that's not a high school experience. That is just you being yourself at home. If you want these 4 years to be the best years of your life, or just to enjoy them in general, you have to participate, you have to put yourself out there, and you just have to find things that you genuinely like. And I feel like that's just very important, with also my last point saying that you have to be yourself, because for you to enjoy participating, you have to be confident enough in yourself to be able to find the things that you will like, which goes into my next point, which is that you have to focus on your grades. Grades are so very important. People really just do not say this enough, in my opinion, especially as a freshman. You think that,
okay, well, I have 3 more years. Colleges do not look at my freshman year anyway because the other 3 years are more important, obviously.
No, that's not how it works. In fact, when you're applying to colleges, most colleges will barely be able to see your senior grades in the first place. So those first 3 years are definitely the most important. You have to, again, set yourself on the right foot and get the grades that you want. That means studying. Studying is so very important. I've seen too many of my friends and people just that I see in my high school who have so much potential, but they waste it because they don't want to study. They don't want to actually put effort into school, which is crazy to me because the whole point of school is to get education. Get your grades up, keep your grades up. That GPA is going to matter at some point in your high school career. Next thing that I want to say is that you should definitely take those if you can handle it, take those upper level courses. I'm talking about your honors classes. I'm talking about the AP, your IB. If your school offers it, take it. At least try it out your first few years. I know that the school that I went to, you are not allowed to take APs until, you're not able to take APs until your junior year. Normally. Some sophomores are able to take AP depending on the circumstances, but typically you're only allowed to take these classes in your 11th and 12th grade year, which stinks because your senior year you don't want to be taking those classes, but like I've said in previous videos, I'm taking those classes because I have to, and I want to keep my GPA up so that I can go to the places that I want to. Those classes, the reason why they're so important though, is because they can give you college credit. And in case you don't realize this as a freshman, college costs money, and if you are going to be able to get some of your college courses out of the way in high school, then that's what you're going to want to do, because it means that your college may just come a tiny bit cheaper just because you got that 5 or that 4 on that AP, and they're now willing to give you credit so that you don't have to take those lower level classes when you get to college. Another thing that I will say is that you should definitely join clubs and just find something that you genuinely enjoy. And if you can't find anything, then create your own club. Another thing that I say is that you have to be careful who you allow to be your friend, who you decide you're going to be friends with. And I don't think I really emphasized this enough in middle school because it's just as important, but show me your friends, I can show you your future. If you decide to hang out, like I can think of so many examples in my high school alone, and I have a grade that's 40 students. If you decide to be around those bad influences, don't be surprised if you become a bad influence yourself. That's just the easiest way that I can paint the picture, because your friends really do reflect to a certain extent yourself. And yeah, Definitely try and make friends. It will be easier than you think, I promise. I know that it seems on that first week, in the first few days of school, that everybody has their new best friend and everybody's cliquey, but seriously, it's not what it seems. People are faking it just like you may be faking it, because fake it till you make it is sadly the truth in high school. You're gonna think that everybody has it put together, has everything going on basically, but they don't. And the cliques that you think are just solid, like cement solid, they're not. So a next thing, also, I have notes in case you didn't realize that. Next thing is to try and do your best. And when I say try, I'm not saying that like
a little bit of effort, just a little bit of something here and there, and I'll wing it sometimes.
No, seriously, try and do your best. I already said it earlier, but your grades do matter, especially your freshman year. Colleges are looking for that upward trend or for it to be stable. So that means you got to start from here. That doesn't mean, okay, freshman year, I can just start off with C's and then I'll give them the upward trend. No, start off strong, because it's just going to get harder from here. This is your best year to try and get started on the right foot. Along with this, though, is look at what your high school's requirements are and get those core curriculum classes out of the way. I know at my school, there are certain classes that are required. You have to take Computer 1, you have to take speech class, you have to take health class, and then after that, you have to take just certain English, math, science. Oh, and you also have to take 3 years of a foreign language. Make sure that you get all of these credits out of the way first, or just as soon as possible, because you do not want to be that senior who gets stuck in the freshman class. Because if you think that your grade is annoying now, just wait till you're a senior and you see the freshmen, and then you realize that you're stuck in a class with freshmen and you're just like, oof, were we like this? Seriously though, I mean, that's kind of mean. I don't mean it to be mean. I really do like some freshmen, but if you don't want to get stuck in those lower level classes as a senior, get your stuff done early. So another thing that I will say is to join a sport. As you guys know, I play soccer and I also run cross country most of the time. But some of my best memories of high school, even though I'm still in high school, but some of my best memories looking back from high school are from the sports teams that I've joined. Soccer is just such a big part of my life. I've loved the bus drives and bus rides over to schools that are 3.5 hours away and are on Georgia time, and you're just like, it's such great times. You have to, if you are into sports, then join a sport. If you're not, then don't, just watch the sports, but seriously participate and have school spirit. Next is to don't be judgy. Believe me, there's a lot of weird people in high school, and guess what? If you're thinking that there's a lot of weird people, there's going to be 10 other people thinking that you're the weird person. Like, just don't do it. And even if you have to judge, don't make your opinions known to the world. Nobody wants to hear about how so-and-so hates you or so-and-so thinks you're ugly. Nobody freaking cares. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Literally, all you're doing by voicing your opinion, a negative opinion at that, it's not constructive at all, is just making yourself out to be that person that nobody likes in the school. Also, don't become obsessed trying to follow the status quo. And I really say this for my girls and guys out there who aren't confident in themselves just yet. It's so easy, especially when you're in such a big environment, to get caught up in what everybody else thinks or what everybody else seems to be saying is the popular thing. It's so easy to get caught up in the trends, and I'm just telling you, it's not worth it. And you don't have money to be wasting out here to only be buying Uggs and Steve Maddens, because it's not going to do you any good in the end. Like, it's just not worth it. Also, respect your teachers. It's kind of sad that I have to say this, but again, you're not in middle school anymore. Making jokes about the teacher, making fun of the teacher is just, it's not cool. You may get a few laughs and chuckles in class, but guess what? You're not helping any of us learn. All you're being is a distraction, and nobody likes a distraction. Also, another one that's going to be a little touchy and probably like the unpopular opinion is don't get yourself into a serious relationship. I made this mistake, not even going to lie, but it's not worth it. It's not worth your time. Like, oh, don't do it. And I know somebody's gonna just say in the comments, well, guess what? My parents were like high school sweethearts, or I know somebody who made it work. They're still dating and they're in college now. Well, guess what? it still doesn't make it right, okay? Like, I will say that some high school sweethearts will work, but most of them do not, and nobody's gonna tell me that they do, because we all know that most high school relationships do not work out, and that all they do is just leave that person broken normally, and it's just a terrible place to be in, and a terrible place from a friend standpoint to watch.
Don't do it. Don't do it, please.
Also, be friends with the upperclassmen, but again, going into my last point, be careful with it. If you are a freshman and a senior boy is hitting on you, I think we all know what he wants. I'm going to say that cautiously, because obviously there are some guys where I'm like, they're just really nice people. Most guys aren't like that. But again, you will see that one special senior guy that you're just like, that's a good quality human being. But again, for the most part, just steer clear. But again, make friends with the upperclassmen. They will make your transition into high school so much better. Next thing is that Quizlet and note cards are your best friend in high school. Literally, all we did was create a Quizlet group for our entire grade. Everybody was making Quizlets, and this is just how you not only make friends, but you help everybody out, and everybody loves a helper. Like, just do it. It helps you with studying, it helps you get those grades, but at the same time, do your own work. I will not tell you how many times, and we have an honor code at my school, but again, it's an honor code. Please do your own work. Do not procrastinate to the point where you're going to have to plagiarize. Like, it's not cool. You will get caught, and even if you aren't caught this time, you'll get caught sooner or later. So just don't do it. Another one that's kind of funny is please do not walk slowly in the hallways. If you think that that's funny or cool, it's not, and it's just gonna annoy everybody, because we got places to be, and we don't want to get that tardy bell, because nobody's going to detention today. No, it's not cute. Detention is not fun, guys. It's just not. Also, do not overspend on school supplies. I do not know if my school supplies video will come up before this one or after, but either way, I will have it linked down below for you guys. I spent under $50 on my school supplies, and you can too, because guess what? All the frills do not matter. After that first week of school, nobody cares about the brand name, and then you're gonna be like, hold up. I spent an additional $3 on this notebook, and nobody's even complimenting it anymore. What? I best be getting my money's worth, and you're not gonna get your money's worth, because guess what? Those notebooks, those pencils do the same thing. Save your money, because college is expensive. High school is also pretty expensive depending on the things you want to do, and save your coin. Also, take or study rather study, because most high schoolers who are freshmen obviously have not taken the math needed for the ACT or SAT, but study already. Study for the SAT, study for the ACT, study for the PSAT. These things can get you scholarships for colleges. People, take it seriously. I know that back when ACT Aspire days, like when I was in middle school and everybody had the state ordered testing, it was very easy to just brush it off. But guess what? These are the things that get colleges to look at you from the very get-go. And take it seriously. Most importantly, learn how to say no. I cannot say this enough. You have to learn how to say no. Or otherwise, again, you're gonna get wrapped up in those groups that are just not healthy. You're gonna get wrapped up in relationships that are unhealthy, and it's just a terrible place to be. You have to learn how to say no from now. Again, no means no. And that's another thing, as being a good friend. If your friend says no, then take them at the no, and just learn how to say no, please. Also, don't get hung up on the small things. It's so easy to get wrapped up in yourself, and to get wrapped up in, oh my gosh, I got a 98 instead of a 100. I know people who do that, believe it or not. But again, like, those small points, I mean, they do add up sometimes, but the small things in the big picture don't matter that much. So just, I know it seems really big in the moment, but just don't take yourself too seriously sometimes. Just also be careful in these group chats. I see so many people getting in trouble in group chats because they say stuff that does not need to be said, that does not need to have records. Nobody needs to have a record of you saying anything bad to somebody else. Just do not do it. If you have to say something bad about somebody, say it in person so that you do not have any records of it. I mean that in the nicest way. Like, obviously, don't say anything bad about somebody. Don't do it. That's just a mean thing to do. But if you have to do it, don't put it out there in the group chats where everybody can screenshot it. Like, it's not cool, and you're gonna get yourself in trouble. Believe me. I've seen in my 3 years here at my high school, literally 4 different groups got in trouble for how they used a group chat, and it was considered bullying, and people got in trouble. Just be careful of what you say out there, people. Be careful of what you say. It will come back to haunt you, I promise. Also, with that, social media, it's fake. It's so fake. So don't get caught up in that. There is no, oh my gosh, like, their beach pictures look so much better than mine. Like, don't get wrapped up in the small things, for all. Also, don't send nudes, because guess what? Those nudes that you thought you were sending to that one guy, it's going to go around the entire school. So just don't do it. We will all know about it by the end of the week, end of the day, maybe, depending on how big your school is. So, do not go to parties alone. If you must go to a party because it's part of the high school experience, I'm not going to lie, it is, and sometimes it can be fun and whatnot, but just don't do it alone. Especially, you guys know the types of parties that I'm talking about, the risque ones. If you're gonna go to any of those, make sure you take a buddy. It's just like college, or at least what I would assume college is like. You don't want to be there alone. You don't know what's going to happen, and you need somebody to be willing to look after your back. You know what I'm saying? Also, listen to your parents. I mean, obviously they're not right 100% of the time, but they went through high school too, and I know my parents are gonna be watching this video like, about time she realized that. But seriously, sometimes they do know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Also, try to be on time. This is a thing that goes with respect. If you're respecting your teachers, you're respecting that their time is money too. They are not waiting on you, especially if they have a class of 25 plus students. They cannot wait on you. So be on time, or try and be on time. I'm not going to be that stickler who says you must be there on the dot if you're a minute late. Like, oh my gosh, like, no, don't do that. Also, try not to miss class. I wrote down don't miss class, but really it's just, or rather, try not to. I know towards the end of the school year, that last semester, everybody's gone for all sorts of things, and it's kind of hard to keep up in class because, again, school's gonna go on whether you're there or not. So just try and go to class, because especially for those core classes, math, sciences especially, once you get behind, you're behind for good. It's really hard to come back from that. Also, if you need help in class, ask the teacher. This is just goes so far. It shows so much initiative to just go up to the teacher and straight up tell them, I don't know what's going on. I have this, and that. I don't understand. Can you help me? And if you cannot help me, can you point me in a direction of a person who can? It's so important to not let yourself get so far behind that it comes towards the last few weeks before final exams and you're just like, I don't know anything that's going on, because by that point, it's too late. But as soon as you nip it in the bud, you're going to be able to get yourself a tutor or get help after class and get those kinks ironed out, because believe me, you do not want to be that person at the very end of the school year who's trying to relearn everything because they were too proud to ask the teacher earlier on and actually just own up to the fact that they didn't understand. So don't be that person. Hang out with your friends. But also realize that friends come and go and that education is forever. I think that's so important these days, because especially on Instagram and the environment that YouTube to a certain extent is creating, it makes it seem like, okay, this friend culture, that is the most important thing in life, and really it's not. In the end, the things that you're learning in high school, the mistakes that you're making and the mistakes that you're learning from, that is so important. And I really want to make sure that you guys don't ignore the fact that, again, you are here for one thing and one thing only, and that is to learn, get yourself an education, get that paper, get that diploma, and get out of here. Everything else is just the icing on the cake, because guess what? That cake, that foundation, is every single thing that you are learning in every single class. Every class, no matter how dumb it may seem, is important to you getting that diploma. So lastly, my last few things is that high school, for dances, you gotta go to them. Just like, everything happens at dances. It's so much fun. It's so worth your time to go, especially if you can afford to. Homecomings, proms, don't say no. Even if you're an introverted person and you're not into dancing, like, standing in a corner can end up being fun. Like, it's just, the atmosphere is really, really great, and you'll just enjoy it. It's hard to explain, but even the fact that, like, getting ready for these dances is just so much fun to me. So definitely go to dances. But at the same time, if you're going to be going to dances, don't spend an excessive amount of money on shoes. Shoes that you will wear like once or twice and then ignore for the rest of the year. Like, don't do it. Buy yourself some shoes from Target or from super cheap at like DSW. Anyway, I hope you have an amazing school year, and if this video helped you in any way, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really helps me also. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and your girl's out of here. Oh my gosh, it's still crazy for me to think that I'm a senior, but have a great freshman year. You'll love it, I promise. Peace out.